So the Boston Bruins have had an interesting offseason to say the very least. They have seen some key players leave and depart, like Jake DeBrusk and Danton Heinen, Matt Grzelcyk, Derek Forbort. There has been a lot of Bruins that have not been retained, but they've also added some nice players as well. Captain Paul for the locker room. Appreciate if you guys could drop a like, comment, and subscribe, but let's get right into it. The two biggest additions by the Boston Bruins during this free agency has been Zadorov and Lindholm. Lindholm was locked up for 7 years at a $7.75 million cap hit per year, and then Nikita Zadorov was signed for 6 years, $5 million per year. Both of these players are solid in their own right, and Lindholm will be a nice addition down the middle. Do I think of Lindholm as a top-tier number one center? No. Now, I hope he proves me wrong, but when you watched him with the Canucks, there'd be some good nights, and there'd be some nights where he just completely disappeared. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but hey, maybe if he's matched up with the right winger, maybe if he's put together with Pasta, he has an absolute dynamic season. And Zadorov, he's going to add a nice physical presence. He's a big hitter, and he's already said he doesn't want to be called Big Z, which I respect. Zdeno Chara is going to be Big Z in our hearts forever. So he'll add nice physicality. He's solid enough defensively, but at times his decision-making cannot be the best. So while looking at this lineup, Lindholm, Marchand, Pastrnak, Zacha, Coyle, and Geekie. Most likely the guys you would probably have in your top six. Maybe you put Frederic up on a top six instead. Matthew Patra, a young, promising center. I think it'd be more ideal to have him in a third-line role if you're going to have him at the NHL level, instead of having to depend on him to be in your top six. I like his game a lot, but I think he'll need a little bit of time. And then when you look on the back end with Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy, Nikita Zadorov, Brandon Carlo, that's a solid enough top four. Bottom pairing, I think Mason Lohrei has shown the capability to be a very good defenseman. So I wouldn't be completely shocked if you do see Lohrei get some top four minutes, but having him in a bottom pairing, not a bad thing. I think the decor for the Bruins is pretty steady. Do I think they have improved this offseason? That's an interesting one. When you dealt Linus Ullmark, and you brought back a first-round pick, which is good, and hopefully Dean Letourneau turns into something. But then you end up bringing in Korpisalo. I do think you've downgraded a bit in the goaltending position. Swayman still has yet to be signed, but with over $8 million available in cap space, I think it's just a matter of time until they figure something out. Swayman is going to be the bona fide number one. And to be fair to Korpisalo, I don't think he's played on great teams. Am I expecting him to be Ullmark? No, but I think he'll be okay enough. I still question bringing him in, especially with his cap hit and term. But the Bruins, for whatever reason, seem very good at fixing goaltenders and making them play extremely well in Boston. So what I think the Bruins got better. I think down the middle, yes. DeBrusk, he's a loss, but he's also extremely inconsistent. So sometimes you get the great DeBrusk, sometimes you get the bad. And then on the defensive side of things, you do get better with getting a guy like Zadorov in. And you're hoping Mason Lohrei keeps developing and gets better next year. I do think the Bruins are going to be a good team yet again, but Ullmark is a loss. But I do have questions about them missing a legitimate top six winger. This isn't to knock Morgan Geekie, but I think he ideally fits more of a third-line role than a second-line role, and I would say the same exact thing for Frederic. Now, they could go out there and make another move. It is early in the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to. Maybe they go out there, see if they can get Jeff Skinner for cheap. Yes, he's a defensive liability, but hey, he can score goals. Maybe if that's what you're looking for, you put him in the right lineup. He can offensively contribute. Maybe Fabian Lysell finally gets a shot in the top six and flourishes at the NHL level. Merkulov could surprise us. Unfortunately for the Bruins, I still have some question marks up front, but I don't think they'll be bad by any stretch of the imagination. So if I was to rate this offseason, I'd give it kind of a B thus far. I think Lindholm is a nice addition, even though I think he's a little bit overpaid for what he gives you. I like Zadorov being a big physical presence. And I could understand the philosophy of maybe allowing some of the younger guys to get a chance with the big club, if that's indeed what they're doing. Not a big fan of bringing in Korpisalo, but hopefully he proves me wrong. But I'd like to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What have you thought about this offseason thus far for the Bruins? I'm Captain Paul. I'll see you in the next one.